it's Di, and today I want to have a chat. So today I want to talk a little bit about the current events that are going on in the world, and this is obviously not normally what I talk about on my platform, and what I normally focus on is happy and activities, and I really want to be uplifting for moms and uplifting for families and give you happy things to raise your kids with style, or do some fun parties with style. And that's really kind of always been the idea behind how I wanted to reach people. But with having a platform comes responsibility, and I think that up until this point, it's been one of those things where I felt like I don't talk about certain things because they're not happy, but everything in life is not happy. So today I just want to talk a little bit about some things that I maybe have done okay. I want to talk about some areas of growth that I hope I can grow myself. And I also want to talk about some ways that we can lift each other up and support each other. So obviously the world is going through a tough time right now. We are dealing with a pandemic that's never been seen like this on this scale before, that's closed down entire countries at a time. We've been stuck in our houses. I've been literally stuck in my house for 80 days. And I'm going through some mental trials and tribulations with that aspect. Work is stressful because there's a lot of fallout because of the whole COVID situation. And now we are in the middle of racism in the United States becoming front and center with some very despicable, horrible things that happened to people. And it has brought this issue to the forefront. I think we do need to deal with it. I think we do need to talk about it. And after thinking about what I wanted to say, first of all, I just want to kind of share some of the things that we do, share some of the areas that I hope to grow, and also share some folks that I've met at conferences that I really think that they have strong voices and they have a viewpoint on this that you should check out. So maybe I'll just share that first. But I don't want to stay silent because not everything in life is happy, and I think that also one of the things that I've realized actually over the past couple years, just by sometimes people would leave comments, is that by me not saying anything, people actually start to build a viewpoint that you have, and it may not even necessarily be anything remotely near what you have. So first and foremost, I consider myself independent. I do not align myself with anything political. That being said, this is not a political issue. This is a human rights issue. This is a civil rights issue. This is human decency at its core. This is all humans having inalienable rights that are due to them. And I don't think that anyone should say that this is a political issue because it's not politics. So that being said, I didn't have to tell you that I'm an independent, but I just want to actually put that out there because I've seen a lot of people that they kind of make assumptions that I lean one way or the other, and I actually am starting to kind of decide that that's maybe not such a good thing, that people form these own opinions when you don't actually put that out there. I wanted to bring to light some particular voices, and I've highlighted some of these on my stories. It looks like some of them have actually already dropped off, but I will try to link some of these below. I've met a number of these ladies at conferences, and they have great voices as mothers and as navigating through life, that they can be helpful. They've been great resources already, sharing blogs, sharing books, sharing links. mskristine, poshinprogress, Clumps of Mascara, Danifaust, I love her. I sat next to her at dinner one night at Beaches, and she has a beautiful soul. She has like these cleansing, she's just got a really, really cool take on harmony. Brown Girl, lashawnwiltz, Glamnellie, I'll put all these below. Momsncharge, Passportsandgrub, Tamika Talks, there's a ton more, thedudemom. I will put them in a list down below, but I've met all of these ladies at Disney Social Media Moms and different events like the Beaches conference. And that's one of the things I love about going to these conferences, is meeting people from all over, sometimes the world, but definitely from all over the United States, seeing how everyone can come together from a different perspective, from a different way of life, from a different location, and create beautiful things. I mean, they're all creators in different ways. Some on Instagram, some on blogs, some on YouTube. And I really, really believe in the harmony. I'm from the Mr. Rogers generation. I mean, Mr. Rogers basically raised me for lack of getting into my own story. But you know, I had tumultuous family times growing up, and I really turned to Mr. Rogers a lot, and I feel like that really kind of gave me my outlook on life. And so those are some ladies that I would recommend. I think there is work to be done. I think you need to hear all of these voices and look at the work, and then action with love accordingly. So one of the things that I will say that we've done in our household, and I haven't really highlighted before, but I would just recommend, one of the reasons I love American Girl is not only because there's great stories that go with dolls, but they also have rich diversity with a lot of the stories. So obviously some of them are set in certain time periods, and they're stuck with that kind of time period mentality, for lack of a better word, like kids from the Great Depression, that sort of thing. But especially some of the contemporary ones. I loved Luciana, Girl of the Year from 2018. She was a Hispanic explorer, and she had her sights set on going to Mars, and it's just a really, really fun, cool story. And we enjoyed her books, we enjoyed the doll, and all of that came to our house and inspired us to dream big. Another series for younger girls I really, really love is Wellie Wishers. It shows you that these girls come together and they can do fun and extraordinary things, and they all may look a little different, but they all love splashing in puddles. They all love doing the same things. And so, you know, when Wellie Wishers came out, I was a super huge fan because it was right at the reading level that we needed for Natalie, especially. That we got the Wellie Wisher house, we have all the dolls. And so I think that immersion and in mirroring what is out in the world, if they have that available to them in their home through books, through, you know, dolls. We have dolls of, you know, a range of colors in our house, and that's what it's like out in the world. And so I think that's important to have in your home. So those are areas where I feel like we have either, you know, intentionally or unintentionally been thoughtful about that, where we could do better. You know, so this conversation has really made me realize, like, we need books that specifically talk about this in our home, talk about racism and systematic racism and how to combat it in our home. We do have conversations about it, and actually it was one of the things I was really nervous about, I'll be honest, moving from the North. I've always lived in the North, in Illinois and Michigan, and moving to Alabama, and just knowing the history that happened here and not knowing how that was going to be approached. One of my biggest fears was people being very unapologetic about their history, if that makes sense. I was very concerned about that, very worried about how that time period was going to be presented in school. I'm very happy to say that that is not an issue, especially in the schools that we have decided to move into. It is presented in a manner of, this was a part of our history, this was wrong, this happened and shouldn't have, these were bad decisions, and this is what we've learned from it. And so this past year, actually, my daughter's class, the fourth graders, before all this started with COVID, they went down to the Civil Rights Museum, and they learned about it. They're learning about it in school. So learning about it in school is an important part, but talking about it at home is too. And so I need to do better about getting books that specifically talk about it, and talk about ways to help. And I think that's what this is all about, is figuring out ways that we can support through not just in the moment support, but how we can actually reach out and help. So, you know, I don't know where this goes from here, but I did want to make this video because I feel like if I didn't, it's just ignoring it, and that's not me either. You know, my platform is very, we're happy and we're here and we're celebrating and we're together, but it's all of us in this together. And I truly believe in lifting people up and being there for people when they need you to be there for them. So I felt like it was very on me if I didn't say, how can I help? You know, we're here, we want to help, how can we help? We have love in our hearts, And so this past week, I think I had some scheduled stuff that ran. I'm, moving some stuff that was going to be on this week on to next week. But, it's just, these are tough times for a lot of people. And I'm not going to go into the COVID stuff because there's, just a lot of stress there too. And I think a lot of that's going to start bubbling over a month or two from now, when and if we can't go back to, school and all those things. But I think this conversation is good in the sense of good events did not bring it about, but it's good to have this conversation, and we need to be talking through this because otherwise it will never get to a better place. So listen to people that are trying to constructively have you hear their voice. Listen to people that are trying to constructively help. Figure out ways that you can help in your home. And there was a really great graphic, it's still going around, is you fix it in your heart, you fix it in your home, you fix it in the world. And I absolutely believe that's true. So this video is basically to say the right voice to follow, to lead you to fix it. So I will go back to kind of like my regular tone, but that being said, I do have an opinion, and I felt like it was wrong to not put that out there, because if you don't, then people can just make their own assumptions and assume certain things are there when they absolutely are not and never have been. I've seen this happen sometimes, and I don't correct it a lot, but in older videos, people might assume that I thought a certain way, and it's kind of funny to see some of those assumptions, but they're based on just a brief glimmer and snapshot. And what it makes me realize is that if you don't put more of yourself out there, then people are just left to fill in the rest with assumptions. So let me know how you're working on addressing this in your home, how you're working towards healing in your home. If you have any other voices that should be heard, please share those down below. A number of these ladies I've met at conferences, and they're absolutely extraordinary. I follow all of them. I'm primarily over on Instagram if I'm not here, so Instagram's a great place to start. So I'll put their Instagram handles down below. But please engage in the conversation in some way, because I think that's the only way we go anywhere better from here. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. I wish you all well, and I hope that we can all work together to make this whole situation better for everyone. Thanks for watching.